Good evening and welcome to Prime of Midlife. It's Tuesday evening and the news obviously is sort of catching up with itself, I think, and there's been a few articles that have made me think I need to prep more. This is not stopping anytime soon. And so, my notepad, I've been sitting noting things down, and I just thought I would get it out there because this is something that's going to affect all of us. And although it seems that there's not an awful lot being said, there's an awful lot been happening in the background. Now, if you've been looking at the comments in this channel, you'll see on one of the videos that I did, there's a nice young gentleman asked me where I was from in Scotland. I'm from Perthshire, he's from up in Aberdeenshire, and he's a farmer. And they have stopped rearing pigs. They've just stopped because it costs too much for feed. And when he told me that, I went back to him going, oh my God, I didn't think it was, that immediate. I knew it might be a problem. He's like, oh no, pigs are a big problem now. We just can't afford to rear them, so we've stopped. He said chickens will not be far behind. I've been speaking to some people and they're really struggling with the chickens. Now that's in the UK, in Scotland, the farmers are already resetting what they're doing. So although you might be able to get your pork and chicken just now, I would say in the next few months, that could be a real problem. The second thing I noticed was the RAC has warned of a national fuel crisis. Okay, now they're looking at diesel's 180 a litre up here anyway, and they're saying that they're looking for it to go up to 190, possibly £2 by the end of the year, sort of thing. That just is scary because I live rural. I need to travel. To be able to afford to go to supermarkets, etc., to be able to buy things that are cheaper, that will stretch my money, I need to travel to the supermarkets. So increased costs in fuel is going to be a big problem. And seemingly Ireland, as in the Republic of Ireland, the government has already started looking at scenarios for fuel problems. And these scenarios go from putting essential travel first, like letting farmers and fire engines and ambulances, etc., public transport, fuel up first, give them priority. Next was working from home. They're looking at some serious options just in case, because they think they have to. And I think that's quite worrying, and I'm kind of concerned that we haven't heard of the UK government doing anything like that, or maybe they have done and they're just not publicising it. So, RAC warning of a national fuel crisis is bad enough. Then, a lady called Leslie O'Brien, one of the directors of Freight Link Europe, has said the cost of running one lorry has risen by £20,000 in 1 year. Now, I don't know about you, but pretty much everything that we get in the shops up here comes up in trucks, comes up in lorries. And last year they were about 41,000 per truck in fuel. This year it's over 61,000. 20,000 increase in 1 year. And to put it into perspective, Rod McKenzie from the Road Haulage Association has said that your average 44-tonne truck, which is your big Arctic thing, it gets less than 2 miles per litre. So you imagine what this is costing to shift these lorries to get this stuff to us. Less than 2 miles per litre. So, it's costing them a tenner to get out the yard, almost. And what they're calling for is a reduction of fuel duty for necessary transport. So like for your trucks, for your fuel tankers, for your emergency services, because 35% of the cost of that litre of fuel is on fuel duty. So the government is raking it in from these increased prices. The fuel companies are raking it in from these increased fuel prices. But us people on the ground, we're the ones that are struggling. So, you know, there's going to be quite a few companies, trucking companies, are going to go to ground because they just can't afford it. There's already some of them selling vehicles. So you've got the farmers are stopping rearing animals. We've now got a national fuel crisis, a distinct possibility. 20 million tonnes of grain are stuck in the Ukraine at the moment. You may have seen the headline where some Russian diplomat stomped out of the European Council or something because they said that Russia was at fault for this wheat crisis or grain crisis because of their invasion of Ukraine. There's 20 million tonnes of grain stuck in Ukraine just now. And according to the Ukrainian agriculture and food analysts, they estimate they've got about 10 weeks to get rid of this stuff out of the silos, out of the storage barns, out of wherever they store grain, before the spring harvest is due. Now, this means there could be another 20 million tonnes of grain ready to harvest, if it's safe for them to harvest it, but they've got nowhere to store it because they can't get the grain out of Ukraine. And it's just a catch-22. You know, what do you do with that? And they're saying, well, we need to, you know, Russia will surely let the grain go through to rather than stop, millions of people starving. You having a laugh? He's gone to war. He doesn't care. You know, unless he gets something back from it, which is probably either going to be all the sanctions lifted or half of Ukraine. I don't see the Russians going, oh, well, you know, we're trying to conduct a war here, you're thwarting us, but we'll give you all this grain. Really? Oh my goodness. So then, as I was reading about this grain thing, and they said the International Grains Council is meeting this today and tomorrow in London. And so I went and looked at the programme, and obviously it's like, you know, we've got to be able to diversify, we've got to be able to have cunning plans for, obviously it was more official words than that, but basically we need to have cunning plans for just in case. And two of the programme speeches or panels tomorrow are sponsored by a company called Refinitiv. So, you know, it's on the programme of things and it says these two are sponsored by Refinitiv. And I was like, oh, you know, are they like a world organisation for feeding the starving, etc., etc.? No. They're a tech, data and expertise company. And they keep the financial risk and professionals one step ahead. And that's who's running the International Grains Council plans. That's Patrick just coming in, so I will be going just shortly because I need to feed the poor man. But it just makes you think, if it's, you know, people who are keeping financial and risk professionals one step ahead. I mean, don't even start me on the boss of Sainsbury's getting 23 million or something, or 3 million pay packet, a 3 million pay packet, and yet they won't pay their contracted and cleaners the living wage, but he can walk away with 3 million, really? And then you've got the other supermarkets like Morrison's who are now controlled by financial investment companies. So they don't care about the people on the ground trying to buy the food. They just care about making sure their shareholders have money. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to get better anytime soon. Keep prepping, keep sorting yourself out, do everything you can, because there's been a lot of talk about the cost of living crisis just now. But oh my goodness, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So get yourself sorted, try your best, do whatever you can. I'll speak to you later.